Today we're talking about management. What is management? Management has lots of different definitions, but the definition I'm going to be using for us tonight is management is going to be describing the tools that we use to decrease the likelihood of problem behaviors emerging. Okay? So it does not eliminate, right? There's always room for human error, and we're dealing with aggression. We've got to be careful of using multiple levels of management, and I'll talk about that as well as we go through what things can be paired together to make everything more successful, okay? So the first thing I'm going to talk about when it comes to management is slip leashes. Now, the reason I'm talking about slip leashes specifically is because they have so many different uses, and they're great for different sizes of dogs. If you have a home like I do, where I've got dogs ranging from 85, 90 pounds down to 15 pounds, I don't really want to be changing out my gear all the time. So I really like using my slip leashes for these things. Now, there are different types of slip leashes, and it's important to realize the difference. This is a really basic, super thin one, similar to like what you would get at a vet clinic or a grooming clinic, okay? It's just got a little ring here. You can either fold it through, right, and slip the little head on here. Hey, Miss Sammy, yes, I know you love slip leads. They're the bomb.com when they're used appropriately, right? So we can feed it through there. We can take the little handle here, feed it right through, boom, slip it right on over your dog, okay? These slip leads are great for quick transport. I also recommend these for things like if you've got a dog that likes to bolt out the door when your company comes over, just put a thin little slip lead on them so they can't get right out the door, all right? This is a great management tool for quick trips, for things inside the house, for anything of that nature, okay? But notice, it does not have a lock. So if your dog was to put the brakes on and spec out, there is a high percentage chance that this is just gonna bloop right off their head, and you're gonna lose your dog and be left there holding this little leash. Like, what the heck, Renee? So this is only good for short transport things, okay? If you're looking for something that's going to have a little bit more consistency, a little bit more reliability as far as actually hanging on to your dog, you're looking for a slip lead that locks, all right? So this is one of my favorites. It's just a nice rope slip. I like this one specifically. I get it from a leather company. So there's a lot of other rope slips out there that are hard on your hands. They're kind of scratchy almost, and I didn't use them for a long time because I have little sensitive baby hands. But these are so smooth and nice, and it's made by a leather company, so everything's great. Anyways, you come on down here, and this lock, this is the lock I'm talking about, right? So it slips right up over your dog's head, bloop, and this little thing, this lock, right, you can pull it up the leash to make it bigger, cinch it right down on their neck. Now the chances of them getting out of this are much, much lower, all right? So for some dogs, if we're not dealing with major reactivity, if it's just some simple unruly behavior, I'll use something like this on a walk, with some ID tags, of course. These types of things can be slipped out of. These types of things are not 100% guaranteed, but I like these over the kinds without the lock when we're doing anything outdoors, or when the potential for failure would increase the risk of the dog getting hurt or hurting somebody else. We want a lock. Now, some people don't like the rope. I like them, but they're 6 foot, so you gotta do a leash lock, and you kind of got a lot of leash there to deal with. So I also have this other one here. It's a biothane. Yes, Miss Sammy, I can totally post the link. I actually get them from Leather Brothers is the name of the company. I wholesale for them. But let me know, shoot me a message, and I'll connect you and get something just shipped out to you, okay? Awesome. So this is a really simple biothane leash. Now, biothane is a very sturdy material, but it's really lightweight. So sometimes it can feel like you don't have good control, but I promise they're sturdy. This thick nylon slip leads the locks. Lock heels up. Cool. Thanks, Michelle, for dropping that knowledge. Yeah, if anybody wants to check out Michelle's comment, she just posted up somewhere where you can get them here in San Antonio. So I like this biothane lead for when I'm doing things like bath time, right? Because this can get wet. It'll dry out really fast. I'm not worried about any type of specific cleaning, and it's got a lock again, okay? The other reason I really like this biothane leash is because it's much shorter. It's only a 4 foot. So I have a little bit more control, and I don't have to do so much of manhandling of my leash lock. So that's 3 different types of slip leads to consider. Again, the most important thing to think about is, do you need a lock or not? 9 times out of 10, the answer is yes. You need a lock on your slip leash, okay? Sometimes you don't. That's for the puppies who are just bolting out the door. Just grab your really thin little slip lead. Ask your vet clinic if you can take one home. They are excellent for transporting from A to B, all right? So those are the slip leads I was going to cover today. If you guys have any specific questions about slip leads, how do I use, when do I use, drop them in the comments and I'll try and answer them as I go.